Have you ever stopped to think that often the most discreet people are precisely those who leave the deepest mark on history? There's an apostle who didn't seek the spotlight, didn't strive for prominence, but whose simple actions transformed lives and changed the course of the Christian faith. This man became an eternal example of courage, fidelity, and dedication. Today you will learn the story of St. Andrew, the first disciple to follow Jesus, a man who saw beyond appearances and knew how to transform small opportunities into great miracles. Get ready, because what you're about to hear may change the way you view your own life mission. Andrew always had something that set him apart from the other fishermen on the Sea of Galilee, a heart that wouldn't settle. While many were content to cast their nets and return home with fish, he looked to the horizon and felt that life needed to offer something beyond the obvious. He's like that person who, even with a stable job, feels deep down that they were made for something greater. This restlessness isn't a problem. On the contrary, it's a sign of an inner thirst, a hidden calling, waiting to be discovered. It was precisely this hunger for meaning that led Andrew to John the Baptist. He wasn't just curious. He sought answers, yearning for something that would fill the void that not even the sound of the waves could silence. Often, in our daily lives, we also feel this emptiness. It can be at work, in our studies, or even in our personal lives. The person who decides to attend a lecture, read a transformative book like The Monk and the Executive, or surround themselves with mentors, is making the same move as Andrew, leaving the shore and entering deeper waters. And when he finally heard John the Baptist announce that the Messiah was near, something inside him was ignited. It was as if all the questions he'd been harboring found direction. This turning point is similar to the moment someone discovers a new skill or realizes they can pursue something they love. The heart races, the mind opens, and life begins to take on new meaning. But, of course, this was only the first spark of a journey that would soon become even more intense, because an unexpected encounter would change everything. When John the Baptist pointed to Jesus and declared, "Behold the Lamb of God," Andrew didn't hesitate. He took a step that would forever change the course of his life. Following Jesus in that instant was a courageous choice, because it meant abandoning the security of what he already knew and diving into the unknown. It's like when someone decides to leave a stable job to invest in their own project, driven by an inner conviction that something greater exists. Andrew understood that he could not ignore that calling. The most striking detail is that, after spending just one day with Jesus, Andrew didn't keep the experience to himself. He immediately ran to his brother Simon and took him to meet the Master. This reveals a powerful lesson. When we discover something transformative, the natural reaction is to share it. Those who discover a method that transforms their health, a course that revolutionizes their career, or even a new outlook on life feel the need to share it with those closest to them. Andrew was a bridge, a link between Peter and the purpose that would change the history of Christianity. This attitude reveals the essence of a true leader. It's not just about experiencing something great, but about enabling others to experience it too. We often wait for the ideal moment to take action, but Andrew teaches that one encounter is all it takes to make the right decision. By introducing Peter to Christ, he not only brought his brother, but also paved the way for the church to have its cornerstone. And this simple gesture shows us that the greatest transformations can begin with seemingly small steps, but guided by the conviction of a heart full of faith. After that first encounter, Andrew began walking side by side with Jesus and became an eyewitness to seemingly impossible events. He was present when thousands of hungry people were fed with just 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. Interestingly, it was he who noticed a boy carrying the small snack and introduced him to Christ. This detail reveals his sensitivity. While many saw scarcity, Andrew saw opportunity. He's like an entrepreneur who looks at a simple idea and sees a potential to transform entire markets. Andrew's attentive gaze teaches us something profound. Great miracles begin when we recognize the resources we already have at our disposal, even if they seem insufficient. How many times do we fail to take steps because we believe we don't yet have what we need? Andrew shows us that it's not about the size of the resource, but about delivering it into the right hands. Just as that snack multiplied to feed the multitudes, our talents, dreams, and efforts can multiply when placed at the service of a greater purpose. Furthermore, his mission was clear: to be fishers of men. With each teaching, With each miracle he witnessed, Andrew understood that his life had been redirected. He was no longer just a man casting nets into the sea, but someone called to spread words, hope, and faith into hearts. And herein lies the key. When we understand that our vocation goes beyond what we do daily, we begin to see work, relationships, and challenges as part of a larger field, where we can make an impact that goes far beyond ourselves. Andrew's journey was not only filled with miracles and moments of enthusiasm, but also with trials that required unwavering courage. He saw the persecution against Jesus increase up close, and yet he remained steadfast. When the Master was led to the cross, Andrew did not shy away from the calling that already burned within him. This detail is crucial because it reminds us that faith is not just enthusiasm on good days, but steadfastness on difficult days. It is like a leader who continues to believe in the vision even when results have not yet appeared, sustaining a conviction that transcends circumstances. After the resurrection and ascension of Christ, Andrew wholeheartedly embraced a mission of proclaiming the good news. He traveled far and wide, faced cultural and spiritual challenges, but never backed down. This determination shows that when a person has clarity of purpose, there is no distance too far, no obstacle too great to stop them. Many of us give up halfway because we forget why we started. Andrew, on the other hand, kept the flame of his first encounter with Jesus alive, and this fueled his journey to the end. The end of his life was marked by martyrdom on an X-shaped cross, known to this day as the cross of St. Andrew. And herein lies a lesson that has spanned the centuries. Those who find meaning in their mission do not fear the price they must pay. He saw death not as defeat, but as the crowning of his fidelity. It is like someone who leaves. Andrew's story shows us that greatness lies not in always being first, but in being faithful to the role entrusted to us. He didn't seek prominence, but his discreet approach had a profound impact on the history of faith. This teaches us that we don't always need to be in the spotlight to transform lives. Sometimes a word, a gesture, or an act of encouragement can pave the way for others to achieve their purpose. It's like the foundation of a building, invisible to the eye, but essential to supporting the entire structure. Another essential point is his ability to see possibilities where others saw limitations. Andrew inspires us to look at small resources, small ideas, and even small beginnings with a conviction that, placed in the right hands, they can multiply. How often do we fail to act because we believe we need too much to get started? The apostle reminds us that the secret lies in taking the first step with what we have. What seems small can be precisely the seed that, in due time, will bear extraordinary fruit. Ultimately, Andre's life is an invitation to live with courage and fidelity until the end. It's not about never feeling fear, but about not allowing it to paralyze our mission. His martyrdom proves to us that true conviction goes beyond the pursuit of comfort. It finds meaning even in sacrifice. And herein lies the key. When we live with purpose, every choice, every challenge, and even every renunciation becomes steps that bring us closer to fulfillment. Andre shows us that life gains weight and meaning when we stop living only for ourselves and begin living for something greater. The life of St. Andrew leaves us a trail of light that spans the centuries and reaches us as an invitation to transformation. He wasn't the most talked about apostle, nor the one who appears at the forefront of narratives, but he was someone who knew how to live the power of simplicity, dedication, and constancy. His story proves to us that a person's worth lies not in how visible they are, but in how faithful they are to the calling they have received. Thus, Andrew teaches us that each of us has an irreplaceable role, and that true greatness does not depend on visibility, but on the depth of our commitment. When we look at his journey, we understand that life takes on new meaning when we decide to be a bridge for others to find their way. Andrew was a bridge for his brother Peter. He was a bridge for the boy with the loaves and fishes, and he can be a bridge for us today, inspiring us to also be instruments of hope. He reminds us that we don't need much to make a difference in someone's life. We just need to see the opportunity at the right moment and act courageously. This is a kind of legacy that endures, one that is not measured in titles or achievements, but in human and spiritual impact. The martyrdom of St. Andrew seals his story as a witness to fidelity to the end. And it is precisely at this point that his life connects with ours. We all have crosses to bear. We all face challenges that test our faith and courage. The difference lies in how we choose to respond. Andre chose to remain steadfast, and his decision invites us to do the same. May his story awaken in us the courage to live with purpose, the boldness to take steps even when they seem small, and the conviction that, by being faithful, we can transform the world around us. This is a call that echoes to this day, and the choice to heed it is in our hands.